Here's Steny Hoyer.
Clerk will report the title of the resolution.
House Resolution 21, resolution calling on Vice President Michael R. Pence to convene and mobilize the principal officers of the executive departments of the cabinet to activate Section 4 of the 25th Amendment to declare President Donald J. Trump incapable of executing the duties of his office and to immediately exercise powers as acting president.
For what purpose does the gentleman from West Virginia rise?
I object.
Objection is heard. Pursuant to Section 5A1B of the House Resolution 8, the House stands adjourned to 9 a.m. tomorrow.
All right, and as we expected, there was a Republican objection, so this all moves forward. Let me go back to Pete Williams. So, Pete, finish your thought and where that leaves us in all this.
Sure. So the idea is that obviously impeachment is intended to remove someone from office. If the president is already out of office, then the question is why bother with the impeachment? And there is some precedent for if the House has already started the process and then the person leaves office, you could still have the Senate trial. And if the president were convicted, if Mr. Trump were convicted at that point, then, and that would take a 2/3 vote, then by a simple majority vote, the House could vote to bar him from future office. And that seems to be at least one of the driving forces behind the desire to do the impeachment. So it would take a simple majority vote in the House to pass the articles of impeachment. They would then go to the Senate, and the Senate could act on them whenever it chooses and hold a trial. And if by a 2/3 vote, Mr. Trump were convicted, then they could proceed to this vote on whether to bar him from future office.
All right, so this resolution that would call upon the vice president to exercise Section 4 of the 25th Amendment, there's an objection we just heard from the Republican side. Let's go back to Kasie Hunt to explain what happens now.
Well, Lester, we're actually trying to answer a question here based on what we just saw, because we had been expecting the introduction of impeachment articles. We didn't see anything on the floor on that, which one source of mine had said we needed to do. But we have to double check and make sure that that process actually did unfold behind the scenes here before we move forward on that front. What you did see there play out was unanimous consent. Now, that would have allowed that motion to move through because of the rules of the House. They can't do anything without a period of waiting, basically. So that's why you saw that Republican member go down, object, and now it's likely we're going to see this process play out further on the 25th Amendment question tomorrow. They have been wanting to give the Vice President, Mike Pence, 24 hours to respond to this. I think Democratic leaders still want it to go that way, but I don't think they're optimistic that the Vice President is actually going to take this route. He has signaled that he is not willing to, although obviously events could change and adjust things if we were to see something that caused additional alarm, especially among Republicans. So the question now is, how are House Democrats going to proceed with this question of impeachment? And as these articles have been drafted, and again, they started drafting these articles, Lester, while they were under siege Wednesday at the Capitol. Two of these congressmen were huddled together in one of their offices, sheltering in place, and they started making phone calls to the Senate or the House Judiciary Committee lawyers and others to try and get this all written down. And they have settled on charges against the president for inciting insurrection. There were some Democrats who also wanted to add some other things to that, including the call that the president made to the Georgia Secretary of State about their election. But it seems like at this point, those concerns may be, if not set entirely aside, at least minimized in comparison to what happened on Wednesday, because there's a sense that keeping it focused on the events of Wednesday, the terrible events of Wednesday, makes it more likely that this process could be a bipartisan one, and therefore one more likely to succeed in removing and barring the president from office. Lester.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.